Salam and welcome. Thank you for joining me in another episode of the Quran in English, Basics for Beginners. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Surah 25, verse 53. It is He who has let free the two bodies of flowing water, one palatable and sweet, and the other salt and bitter. Yet has He made a barrier between them, a partition that is forbidden to be passed. Right, so this is the way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created the amazing water. Once again, as we mentioned in the previous episode, we have the same molecule H2O giving us different types of water. In the ocean, you have the salty water or high salt content known as brine in some areas, and in the rivers, in the lakes, we have this fresh water. Even underground, if you want to dig for a borehole or a well, you get fresh water, and it is the fresh water that is essential for the survival of human beings, because you cannot drink salt water, right? Because that affects the homeostasis in the body. Remember, as we said, the biological cell is an amazing, complicated structure. One biological cell in a human being is more complicated than a Rolls-Royce factory. And we have not one cell in the body. We don't have 1,000. We don't even have 1,000,000. We don't even have billion. We got 30 trillion biological cells in the human body, and each cell is more complicated than a Rolls-Royce factory. Now, if you drink ordinary water, that is essential for your survival, for your life, and so on, and your body, your basic biological unit, your cell, is at equilibrium. It feels very, very happy because you have the sodium-potassium channels. But the moment you start drinking salt water, this causes a great imbalance with the sodium-potassium channels. Your cells start to swelling up, your brain gets affected, your kidneys get affected, and it can lead to very, very serious problems. So salt water is not conducive to survival. It is fresh water that is conducive to survival. But what is amazing is that the supreme creator of the heavens and the earth, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, with both salt water and fresh water, He has produced amazing variety of fish and squid and octopus and sharks and whales and so many creatures. So even though a whale is a mammal giving birth to live young, and a dolphin is a mammal, yet their physiology and their anatomy, Allah has created in such a magnificent way that they can survive in an ocean with a high concentration of salt. Other fish survive in fresh water. And what's also amazing, some fish survive in both fresh water and salt water. Absolutely amazing. So they've got an amazing physiology, and it is only a supreme creator with infinite intelligence who can do these type of things. Let's consider this amazing fish called the salmon. The salmon is born in fresh water, higher up in the mountains. And then when it spawns, it goes and lives its entire life in the ocean. And it swims all over the ocean, in the seas and everything. Now remember, there are trillions, at least many hundreds of millions. Let me just do it in terms of scribbling, because I understand things better when I have a visual representation of what I'm trying to say, right? So here's a river high up in the Rockies, and you have a beautiful salmon fish there. The salmon fish, they've come, they've spawned, they've laid their eggs, everything. As soon as they lay the eggs, they die. And you must remember the journey that they've come from. They had to go above waterfalls. They're actually going against the flow of the river. So the river is flowing in this direction, but these amazing fish, they're flowing against the river, and eventually the river empties out into the ocean. This is the huge ocean here, right? Huge ocean, year over year. Now, when the new babies are hatched, they all end up in the ocean, and for a long time they swim all over the ocean. But you must remember, what's amazing, what scientists have found an amazing thing, you must remember that the majority of rivers empty out into the ocean, right? There's another river there. There's thousands of rivers in America, North America, South America, in Europe, Africa. All the rivers, majority of them flow into the ocean. And the reason why I say majority of them, for example, if you take the river that comes from Angola into the Botswana to form the Okavango Delta. So that delta does not empty out into the ocean, but it empties out into the desert itself. It doesn't have enough strength to reach the ocean, but it empties out into the desert. But many other rivers, they empty out into the river, into the ocean. Now this fish here, the salmon, the salmon fish, what is absolutely amazing and mind-boggling is that it will swim all over the ocean. But when it is time for it to die, it wants to now reproduce and wants to lay eggs before it dies. You know what it does? It will start looking for its house, where it was born. It will swim by this river, it will ignore it. It will swim there, it will ignore it. It will swim there, it will ignore it. It will keep on ignoring thousands of rivers until it finds the river where it was hatched and where it was born. Isn't that amazing? And as the water is gushing into the ocean, this fish actually goes against the current. It starts swimming opposite to the current, and it starts getting stronger and stronger because now it's got a calling, like as if it's a spiritual calling, like as if something is calling it. It's got to go there. It's got to go there. Like how we are on earth. God most merciful is calling us, come back, leave the devil alone, leave Shaitan, come to me. So there's a calling, there's a spiritual calling in this fish, and it starts swimming against the current. It comes to a waterfall. And you've seen those YouTube and documentary videos, how the fish are struggling against the waterfall and how it's trying to climb over the waterfall. And here you find normally bears waiting here, because as the fish is trying to come out, the bear catches the fish and eats it, right? So it's a time of abundance even for the bears, because they are also creatures, all right? Allah provides sustenance for everybody. So the fish are the sustenance also for the bears, but many of them escape until they eventually come to a smoother area. There's a huge, like an area, estuary in where the river is, and the male and the female are there. They start shooting out the sperms and the eggs, and the new generation comes. Isn't that absolutely amazing? This is not evolution. This is not evolution. This is that there is a supreme creator. God exists. God has made this design. We as scientists and evolutionists, yes, we can study nature. There's nothing wrong with that. We can see its adaptation of species. We can see natural selection. We can see survival of the fittest. We can see mutation. All that's simply adaptation of species. It does not mean that God does not exist. All of this is an existence and proof of a supreme creator. The creator who created you, he created me. He created the heavens, he created the earth. He created everything. He also created the oceans, and he created the fresh river and the smooth river. Now what this verse is also saying, and you will see this, look at some videos or documentaries on the Nile Delta, the Amazon Delta. You know what's amazing about the Amazon Delta? Let's say if this is the Amazon River in South America. Now the Amazon River is fresh water, and when the fresh water is emptying out into the ocean, it does not mix. Isn't that amazing? You will see for hundreds and hundreds of kilometers, you will actually see the river. The river has got a different color, and this fresh water is coming into the ocean for about 500 kilometers. There's no mixing. You will see like this is a brown color and this is a blue-green color. And you will see it with your own eyes that instead of mixing, like let us say if you take a teaspoon, you take a cup, and inside the cup you put some water, and then you take a red liquid and you put it in and you mix it, immediately it's mixed. But in this case, there's no immediate mixing. If that fresh water touches the ocean water, it does not mix. It continues as fresh water for 500 kilometers. And there's a barrier, and then you can see this is fresh water, this is salt water, and inside this barrier you'll find freshwater fish here and you'll find saltwater fish here. Isn't that absolutely amazing? So if you as a human being, and that is what some people have done. I know some of the early Muslim explorers, when they were going through the desert and they were finding difficulty in finding water, and one of the fellows knew this secret, and when they were coming across here, they couldn't drink the ocean water, and this guy said, give me that water container. He dived into the ocean until he came to the fresh water area, and he collected water from this ocean here, and the people were saved. Can you imagine? Absolutely amazing. And even in addition to that, at the bottom of the ocean, in some of the near reefs, coral reefs, as long as it's not so deep, you will see bubbling springs. There's clear water springs coming out from deep in the ocean. Those clear water springs are pure water, palatable for survival. And in this way, in addition to these people who survived, there was another group who came here and they said, you know what, my great-grandfather said that in this particular area where you see those boulders, if you dive into the ocean there, it will save your life. And the other people didn't believe him. They said, what are you talking about? They said, no, this is the ocean. And he said, no. My great-grandfather said in that specific area where you see water shooting out from beneath the floor of the ocean, that water can save your life. And these people were at the end. It was like an army marching through the desert. And this scout said, you guys hang on here. He took a canteen. He dove, luckily it's not a deep area. He dove down into that area, and where he saw the water bubbling out, he collected that in his canteen. He brought the canteen back to the desert where the army was waiting. And to their shock and surprise, when they tasted it, it was sweet, palatable water. This is absolutely amazing. There's a barrier between the salt and the clear water, right? It is he who has let free the two bodies. Two bodies. I'm just trying to look for my pointer. All right, here's it. I found it. It is he who has let free the two bodies of flowing water. One palatable and sweet, and that's essential for survival, and the other salt and bitter. Yet has he made a barrier between them, a partition that is forbidden to be passed. Absolutely amazing. And you know what's so amazing? It doesn't matter if the fish comes from the ocean or the fish comes from sweet water from the river. All the fish are halal for you to eat. Everything is permissible. It is all halal. You don't have to now slaughter that fish. It is palatable and it is halal for you, right? Every marine creature is halal. The things from the ocean are all halal, right? So it is he who has created man from water. Then has he established relationships of lineage and marriage. For your Lord has power over all things. Ask any scientist in the world if they can create a human being from water. Ask this to any scientist. They will never be able to do this. So what is the answer of the evolutionists and the atheists who say that man has created himself without God? What is the answer? How can a complicated creature like a human being containing 30 trillion biological cells, and every biological cell is more complicated than a Rolls-Royce or a BMW or a Mercedes factory. How can that create itself? How can a cell create its own DNA molecule with 3 billion base pairs from the mother, another 3 billion base pairs from the father, comprising only 4 bases, adenine, cytosine, thymine, and guanine? How is it possible? Then you have our own Duracell batteries in our body. The mitochondria produces ATP. And our skin is the solar panel. We absorb sunshine, the skin absorbs it, and our skin charges our mitochondria and our ATP. So then when you don't have enough sunshine, that's why you feel weak. And the doctor says, go stand in the sun a little bit. Get some sunshine. Go to the beach. Go for sun tanning. Or if you can't do that, here, take some vitamin D, 50,000 international units, drink it for a while to boost the batteries in your body. We all got batteries inside us. Not one or two, we got 30 trillion batteries. But when last did you change your batteries? Did you go to the shop to change your batteries? No. God most merciful has given you this gift of solar panel body. Why don't we give thanks? God has created the sun so the sun can charge your body. This human body did not create itself as a belief, man. So let's not make that mistake. And there are some people in South Africa who are also making that mistake. I'm very sad to say it. How can we say human beings created themselves? Can we say a Ferrari created itself? Can we say a Porsche created itself? Can we say a BMW created itself? You know that house, that lekker house? No, it built itself. You know that furniture? Yeah, no, it made itself. How can we think like that as a belief, man? So we must be very clear. We must use a logical brain because God most merciful has given us an intelligent brain comprising more than 100 billion neurons of brain cells. These brain cells are so important that they have trillions of servants feeding them. These servants who are feeding them are known as the glial cells. Trillions of glial cells, oligodendrocytes and astrocytes. Their job is just to make sure that they are giving food to the brain cells. They are servants of the brain cells. And once this food is there for the brain cells, this 100 billion, they form connections in the brain through the dendrites, known as interdendritic connections. Not one or two. They are making trillions of connections. They're making pathways and highways and super highways in the brain that gives you your ability to think and ponder and find solutions. And your brain is changing on a daily basis through neuroplasticity. And we are saying it created itself. Yes, like Mansa. God most merciful created you, created me, created everything in the heavens and the earth. The least we can do is give him thanks. The least we can do is acknowledge him. The least we can say, yes, oh my creator, you exist, and thank you for giving me this magnificent body. Thank you for giving me my vision and my hearing and my sight and my ability to think and plan and to find solutions to problems. And thank you for giving me the ability to speak and amazing vocal cords. No other creature on the planet of the earth has got a brain like a human brain. It is an amazing brain. There's no other human creature on the face of the earth that can talk like a human being. A parrot is not a human being. A parrot can say, echo, echo, echo. That's all. It does not mean it's a human being. A chimpanzee is not a human being. We can say, okay, you know what, the three most intelligent creatures are a chimpanzee, and it's an elephant, and it's a parrot. Come on, people, that's a belief. Don't insult a human being. Don't insult a human being. That's chalk and cheese. Just because a chimpanzee picks up a stick and puts it in a termite mound and take it out, the scientists get so happy. Hey, it manufactured a tool. Oh, it manufactured a tool. Oh, for heaven's sake. For heaven's sake, what's so big about that? God most merciful taught that animal just to pick up a stick and to use what's in the surroundings. But ask that same chimpanzee if he can manufacture a hammer or a cell phone or a motor car. It can't do it. So let's not get too excited about what we see in nature. We must always give thanks to the Creator Supreme who created everything. Don't let us say, hey, I got proof. You know, that chimpanzee, it's manufacturing tools. And that's how early hominid species they did. And then we had Australopithecus afarensis and Australopithecus gracilis and Australopithecus robustus there in Africa. We had early hominid men. Yes, I found proof that a chimpanzee can become a human being. Ask this stuff, man. So as a belief, man. Let's not get so confused. God created everybody. Get that into our understanding as a belief. It is He who has created man from water. Then has He established a relationship of lineage and marriage. For your Lord has power over all things. They will look after yourself.